What's up, Saints? I'm Barry. And I'm Larry. And this is SFHS Today. In local news, last week students were awarded Students of the Month. These students exhibited exceptional behavior in their classes. The students crowned for their achievements were given a free breakfast accompanied by speeches from the teachers that voted for them. The winners of the awards were elected by VIED and business staff. One of the students was actually our very own and incredibly handsome Hyatt Lindquist. Congratulations to all nominees.
In more local news, if you remember from last week, we touched on the topic of the incredible increase in band musicians. Haley went out and talked with Mr. Bouchard to get the scoop.
I'm Haley Buss, and I'm here to show you the band program. How does the band program compare to how it was in your first year?
The band program this year compared to my first year, we're further removed from COVID, so we have been playing consistently for the last 3-4 years, and our numbers have grown, and honestly, we're better bands this year than we were 3 years ago.
What's your favorite part of band?
Definitely the community. Band has been very welcoming to me.
Spending time with all my friends. We don't have a lot of classes together, so like having a band class that we all enjoy going to is really fun, and also having a class that's not so focused on getting a good grade, especially when I have a lot of college classes, is really helpful too for my school year.
Mine is making music.
I like learning new instruments.
What has changed about the band program in recent years?
I think one of the biggest things that's changed in recent years has been just the culture in the community. The students like each other more, it seems, but they're also just always down in the music area making music together, playing their instruments in the practice rooms or in the band room, before school, after school, Saints time, you name it, they're there.
What's your favorite part of band?
Marching band.
Marching band.
Marching band.
Marching band.
Thanks, Haley. You know, Will, I've actually been working on some music myself. Do you want to hear it?
No, I actually don't want to hear it.
Okay. In even more local news, St. Francis recently employed an incredibly talented and esteemed fight choreographer. He's been working tirelessly with our theater program on the Treasure Island play. Our very own Miss Mo, accompanied by Tabitha Betterman, got an interview with the very same man. Take it away, guys.
What inspired me to become a fight director? I always was interested in the arts, and I was at school at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, and we had a class in stage combat, and that's when I was like, this is a thing? We can do this?
I've had a really good experience. It was really fun to learn how to grab people and throw a fake punch without actually making contact with anybody.
It's interesting to see how slow it has to start out to end up with a safe and good final product. But it's been really interesting, and it honestly makes you feel a little bit more like in the professional theater world. It's really cool.
And you have your own company.
I do, yeah. Started that up to provide classes. We do rentals, and we also do choreography. So
I mean, my students were just going nuts over the stage combat class, to bring in the sword play and the gun volleys that we have going on in this fight
the amount
scene.
of firearms and all of that are involved in the show is huge, and we've got knives and swords and unarmed stuff.
And the reason it's really important to me to work with somebody like Aaron, because he's a professional, and I think a big mistake some people make is that they think they can do it themselves, and they shouldn't do it themselves. So I wanted a professional to come in and take this on, and we're renting our weapons from him so that we know they're safe, they are professional.
It's very refreshing. It's definitely a change of pace from normal rehearsals. His demeanor is very professional, but he still understands that we're high schoolers and we're going to want to have fun. But he's also taking things at a appropriate pace to the point where we all feel very safe, even though the swords are metal and they could hurt, but he's making sure that we're all safe, and so I think we all appreciate that.
And it made me feel a lot safer with all the professional choreography that we've been given so far.
Thanks, guys. Now, if we can get Will to shut his yapper for just 2 seconds, I'd like to begin a new segment to try and test the knowledge of the average St. Francis high schooler. So in this week's trivia segment, I ask you, how many candidates are running for president?
Is it A, 5, B, 7, C, 2, or D, 4?
Drumroll please. The answer is A5, with the Republican candidate being Donald Trump, Democratic candidate Kamala Harris, and third-party candidates Jill Stein, Cornel West, and Chase Oliver. 20 candidates have already dropped out of the race, most notable of which being the current president, Joe Biden. If you find yourself wondering how to vote, pay attention because the Goon Squad went out to show us the ropes.
Hey Saints, I'm T-Mart.
I'm Keck.
I'm Log.
And I'm G-Brun. And today, we're here at the Oak Grove City Hall to talk to an election judge to teach you guys how to cast your vote.
So, as a voter, your responsibility is to be 18 years old and a registered voter. To register, you need 2 forms of identification. One of them has to be a picture identification. So if you don't have a driver's license or a state-issued ID, your school ID picture will work as a photograph of you. And then you just need one other form of identification. So then on election day, you would come in and you would give them your name, and they'll find you in the list of registered voters for that precinct, and then they'll indicate on the poll pad that you are there to register. They'll print out a voter receipt. You take your ballot in to vote. If you make a mistake, it's no big deal. You just take your ballot back to the judge and say, I made a mistake. You'll turn it in, they'll give you a new one. You go back and you finish it. Then after you vote, you put it in what's called the DS200 voting ballot tabulator. It's a big black box. Your ballot goes in there, it's scanned by the scanner, and then at the end of the day, all of those ballots are taken out, put in a box, and the box is sealed.
Yeah. Well, now that I know how to vote, I'm going to, and you guys should too. Now, back to Maine.
Thanks, guys. Whoa, what's going on?
Oh my god, it's gotta be the ghosts again. If you remember from last year, St. Francis was plagued by vengeful spirits. I remember hearing one of a new phantom surfacing at the Ponds Golf Course, but I was sure it couldn't be true. Well, I hate to ask him again, we're left with no choice but to contact Logan Miller.
Please, Logan, please come save us.
Man, oh man, retirement is great. Mr. Gallsinger, sir. Oh my God. God dang it, son. Anybody ever tell you not to talk during a man's backswing?
Sir, I am so sorry, but Scary Terry, he's back.
Something strange in the neighborhood.
So I was just doing my job. It was a normal night at first. I was putting all the golf carts away, and like it was late at night, so it was dark out. It was a little spooky, but I wasn't thinking nothing of it. And I'm parking the golf carts. Next thing I know, I start hearing noise in the back, and I didn't go check it.
Let's get started.
And then the water pipe just exploded. Someone had to have been down here, and it started flooding.
You know, catching them's what easy. Finding them's the hard part. But you know, I'm not no rookie.
Follow me, right?
I think I know where he's at. We're gonna have to go find him.
Boy, are we lucky to have a guy like that around.
And good golly gosh, does he pull off that suit.
Speaking of suits, with Halloween being 2 days from now, I've been told some of you guys still haven't bought your costumes. Well, fear not, because Alyssa, Aubrey, Avery, and Monica went out to show us the best and most cost-effective way to dress up for the spooky season.
Trick or treat! Oh, where are you supposed to be? I couldn't find a costume. Oh no! You could check out Goodwill or Family Pathways for some fun costume ideas. I'm Monica.
I'm Avery. And I'm Alyssa.
And we went out to get you some last minute costume ideas.
For a group costume, grab a red, blue, and green sweater so you can have
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Or if you aren't doing a group costume, you could be a middle-aged dad, a Hogwarts student, or Santa Claus.
Now always find a trench coat and a hat and be a detective.
Or you can find a pretty sparkly dress and some wings and be a disco fairy.
Anyways, we're ready for Halloween.
And you can be too.
Well, Saints, that's all the news we have for you this week. Now over to Jerry and Harry.
What's poppin', Saints? I'm Jerry.
And I'm Harry.
And this is sports.
The Minnesota Lynx lost in Game 5 of the finals to the New York Liberty with a final score of 67-62. On the topic of Minnesota basketball, the Timberwolves fired up their season playing the Los Angeles Lakers in Los Angeles, bringing Minnesota fans yet another loss, losing 103-110. But at the very same time, history was made as father LeBron James and son Bronny James marked themselves as the only father-son duo to play on the same team at the same time in all of NBA history.
Speaking of making history, your Fighting Saint wide receiver Owen Lamson broke the single-season and all-time touchdown record by catching 11 touchdown passes on the season and 16 all-time, making him your Athlete of the Week.
What's up, Saints? This week's Athlete of the Week is Owen Lamson. We're standing in the very end zone where he scored the record-breaking touchdown.
We interviewed some of his teammates, his coaches, and himself.
You know, actually, most people didn't know that I broke the record that game, so when I told them after the fact, they were pretty surprised, but obviously my family and all my buddies were super proud of me, so yeah, that was pretty cool. You know, going into this season, you know, I saw that Blake Marino, he had 10 touchdowns coming in, so obviously the goal was just try to beat that, but honestly, just to help out the team, do whatever I can to win.
I mean, first off, I was just super happy for him. He's a great leader, a great football player, and I think he just deserves all that he is doing.
We just really focused on, he was our main point, and he's always been a favorite target of Tanner, and we just found mismatches of where Owen can kind of take advantage of the other defensive backs or the other backfields, and he's just been one of those people even since continuing on from last year, who has been really striving to get better as a wide receiver, as a football player, as a teammate, as a leader. Really stepped up throughout the summer in the weight room and bringing people along with them and getting people to do the right things. And all his hard work and everything that he's done and tried to make this program a better place is really showing. And this record is just another one of those cherries on top that is an amazing feat and a capstone to his career.
In more local sports news, the school held a pet fest last Thursday for the girls soccer team who advanced to the state tournament. With that being said, they took on Miami in the first round of state play.
Congratulations to the soccer team. Not how any of us wanted it to go, but nonetheless a fantastic season. Also wrapping up their season was the football team. They took on Elk River in section semifinals, losing with a final score of 61-14. They did, however, make history as the first St. Francis Fighting Saints football team to beat the Cambridge Isani Blue Jackets twice in one season. Well, that's all the news we have for you this week.
Now back to Maine!
And one last thing before you go, Saints. We sent Trinity, Nola, Jossie, and Rachel out yet again to bring you this week's RQT.
It's the random question thing. Ding.
My Halloween costume is going to be Whiskey Bee.
I'm going to be dressing up as Harley Quinn because of the new Joker movie.
Me and my fiance are going as Danny and Sandy from Grease.
I'm being Catwoman and my boyfriend's being Batman.
Our couple costumes, I'm going to be Skull Trooper. I'm going to be Ghoul Trooper.
Oh, I'm going to dress up as Wonder Woman for Halloween. He goes around doing the gritty and says, "You doing too much."
I'm dressing up as a Renaissance elf.
I'm going to run a race and I'm going to run like Wonder Woman for my race. I wanted to be this because it's an easy costume and it was cheap.
The Renaissance Festival.
I just looked up random costumes off of Amazon and that's what popped up.
I'm going to be a hot dog.
My parents just suggested this for me for Christmas and I said I have to do it.
After the homecoming football game, somebody left a skirt on the field and it happens to look like a Wonder Woman skirt, so I took it for free and then I built my costume around the skirt that I found on the football field.
Thanks, guys. Well, that's all we have for you this week. Have a happy Halloween, Saints!